Continuing with the idea of characters in my fantasy worlds um, and what makes them unique, I like focusing in on the abilities that these characters have. Um, and it would be easiest to think about Pack in the world of Ada Ave. So let's talk about that world, about Pack and the other characters in the book, and that will also help address the whole idea about characters and what makes these books um, different from other fantasy books. And I use books plural because Pack is the first in a series. I am far into book number 2. The series title for all the books that eventually will come out is The Gifted of Ada Ave. Book 1 is Pack, Wanderer of Ada Ave. In this world, we have a race of immortals. Their mission is to care for the mortals that inhabit that world. The world is divided up into 5 regions. The far northern region is occupied by the Baloran. The Baloran are the race of immortal people. And the other 4 regions of the world are occupied by mortals. Among the mortals, there are groups of people that are called the gifted. And by gifted, the book talks about how they have attributes that are found in the Baloran people. The Baloran are the ones with supernatural abilities. It's not called magic in the book, but you kind of get that idea. They are super fast. They do not sleep. And they are able to command people to do various things, but they do not violate the will of the people that they are caring for. So how does that work? A Baloran might want to cause a conflict to stop. They can do that, but they don't do it by changing the mind and the heart of the people involved. The people just find themselves unable to fight, to engage in battle, and yet their minds and their hearts are still racing in whatever the cause of the conflict is. So the Balarian have incredible abilities, and as I mentioned, they do not sleep. However, every so often, after a series of generations, it could be many, many generations, the Baloran withdraw from the mortal world and go into a state of semi-consciousness. That's their period of rest, and if you might want to call it sleep, that could work. It's more like hibernation. They are still aware semi-consciously of what is going on in the world, and they are able to maintain, at least partially, what it is that they do as their mission in the world. So those are the Baloran. The gifted people are a few mortals have the abilities that reflect some of the abilities of the Baloran. And they are divided up into different groups. A wanderer, Pack is a wanderer. They have the sensitivity to know where the Baloran want them to go. Since the Baloran are hibernating and away from the mortal realms, if they become aware of a need somewhere, they need to have eyes and ears to be able to know what's going on a little more clearly. And so wanderers are sensitive to the need of the Baloran, but almost no Baloran is aware of that fact. They don't know that it's the Baloran who are directing their ways, who are issuing these callings that the wanderers talk about. And as they travel throughout the mortal regions of Ada Ave, they are being directed by the Baloran. Those that are particularly sensitive to the Baloran calling, such as Pack, may discover what it is that they are doing in the world. There are other gifted people, seers. They usually travel with wanderers, although wanderers do not like that. Wanderers are extremely independent and prefer to be alone. But a seer is somebody who gives wanderers an extra sense of sympathy and thinking about what they are doing. They assist them with decisions and things like that. So a seer is usually called to assist a wanderer, even though the wanderer doesn't like that at all. You have the wise. These people are very similar to the seers, but their particular gifting is in taking the information that they have, quickly learning to understand whatever the situation is, and then making decisions that will have the best and most far-reaching outcomes. So they obviously would be ones who give a lot of counsel and are very helpful for all sorts of activities and things going on in the world. There are healers. Obviously, healers have to do with people who are sick and injured. But in this particular world, most of the healers seem to be more fascinated with pain and suffering than they are concerned about actually helping people. And so they will help people, but they usually do it in a way that causes a lot of pain and suffering. So there's kind of a conflict there. And most of the people in this world would rather rely on the help of friends and family and people who know about herbs and medicines rather than having a healer help them. Most people avoid a healer at all cost. Then you have a class called the Philosophi. The Philosophi are people who have more than one ability. A person might be a seer in this world, and there are schools that help various classes of the gifted, but it usually becomes clear very early on that a seer might have more abilities than just being a seer. They might be gifted in other ways. And so the Philosophi are multi-gifted people. So that little summary of how this world works gives you a little bit of insight into how this book is different from very many other fantasy books. And basically what happens in Pack, Wanderer of Adaeve, is that he experiences, like all wanderers, his first calling when he's turning 17 years old. He wants to get on the road. He needs to get on the road. And so he starts off on this mission. Fairly soon into his travel, he runs into a seer, which irritates him to no end. But as he is progressing, he learns throughout the course of the book that the Baloran are about to enter the mortal region again. They are done with their period of hibernation and need to be awakened. And so Pack has a central role in that task. Other gifted people gather around him, and a group of 4 or 5 people help one of the Baloran, who doesn't realize she is a Baloran, awaken to who she is, and then she in turn can awaken the rest of the Baloran from their sleep. So that is a summary of the book. It tells you an awful lot about world building in terms of how I go about it and how I try to make things different from other fantasies. The book is available on Amazon.com. It is an ebook. It is in paperback, as you saw, and it is available in hardcover as well. So I hope, if you are interested, that you will go to Amazon.com and buy the book and leave a review. Thank you.